What's going on, guys? Ben here, Enos Tech, and today we're taking a look at another REEVEN fan controller, this time by way of the Polariz. The Polariz has 3 separate channels. It has a max 3 amp output per channel. You can switch it between Celsius and Fahrenheit, which is always handy. And it's actually made of metal, and it's fully encased, unlike a lot of fan controllers where the top is a bit open and you can see the PCB. Now obviously there's still some connectors on the back that we'll take a look at in a little bit, but for the most part it's fully encased in metal, as you can kind of see in the video now. Just real quick, inside the box you of course get the Polariz unit. There are some sensor cables so you can monitor temperatures, and there are also the fan cables, which you do need to use. Do not plug your fans directly into the Polariz unit or any of the REEVEN fan controllers for that matter, as they will not work. And that's pretty much it. I mean, overall, the dimensions on it are 148 by 42.5 by 98 millimeters, so standard 5.25 inch drive base stuff going on here. Now, as you'll see, looking at it on the front, there are 3 circle displays and dials. They each have their own turn knob, and as you can see at the moment, all of the fans are off. They're reading a temperature of around 21 point something degrees, and at the bottom it is 0.0 volts. Now this is one of the things I think is quite handy, quite nifty. On this one, instead of telling you the RPMs of the fans itself, it goes ahead and lets you know the voltage of them, which can come in handy, especially those people that are real concerned about the voltage and all that type of stuff. But it will also let you know the RPM on the top. So why don't we go ahead and turn a couple of these on, see if we can't. As you can see, sometimes when you're turning it on, it does take a sec for them to come on. Now, as you can see, I'm using 3 different REEVEN fans. We've got the all black Euros in the middle. On the left is the Cold Wing 12, and on the right is the Cold Wing 14, which feature black frames and yellow fins, as you can obviously see by now. But as mentioned, as noticed, it's as easy as turning a dial to get your fans to where you want. Now, as you're turning them, you'll have to turn it a little bit. Give it a few seconds for it to catch up, and then look at the display output to see if it's at the desired setting you want. It really is that easy. As we can see now, fan number 1 is at 810 to 840 RPM at 7.6 volt, 7.4. Fan number 2 is at 630 RPM, but it's actually at 9 volts, so it takes more voltage for less airflow and less revolutions per minute, which is kind of odd. And then over on the other fan is 1200 RPM, and it's at 8 point whatever. As you can see, it's changing as it goes. Taking a quick look at the back of the Polariz fan controller, and again, as we can see, it's fully encased in metal except for where the connections are. Starting on the left, we have the 3 different fan connectors. Next to that is the DC power, which is actually the SATA hard drive power cable, one of the long flat ones, so that's easy if you got one of those. Then we have the 3 temperature sensor plugins where you can plug in the little cable so you can go ahead and monitor the temperature zones near the fans, so you know which fan you got to turn up and down and all that fun stuff. Next, we have some of the settings for where we can change between Celsius and Fahrenheit. That one switch on the left there in the red box that's flipped up at the moment. If you flip it down, it'll change it to Fahrenheit. And then next we have 3 switches that are designed to control the alarms for different reasons. It can let you know if your fans are not working properly and all that fun stuff. So you can go ahead and look at the manual and get that set up how you like. And then on the right, one of probably my favorite feature is the mute beep, or you can mute the beeping noise from the fan controller, because for some reason these fan controllers, when they beep, they are extremely loud and obnoxious. So me personally, I always like to mute them and be done with it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. The REEVEN Polariz fan controller, 3 channels, easy to use as you can see, great display, great functionality. It's easy to use again, and the thing I like the most about it is that it's fully encased with metal. Like I said, a lot of the other fan controllers, even from REEVEN, are kind of open on the top and the back side, and it just leaves room for error. It leaves room for things to get in there, more dust, more whatever, as you might shove a cable out the way and somehow it might get up there. You never know, do you? As always, thank you guys for watching, and please stay tuned in the future for more content.